resumes are what keeps people from getting like so many job opportunities. Like I know so many people that are like, if I could just get in the door, if I could just, if they would offer me an interview, I know I'd get the job. Why am I not getting the interviews? And then I look at their resume and I'm like, who the fuck is this? Honest answer, your resume is trash. That's why you're not getting your jobs. That's why you're struggling as much as you are. But it's okay, because you're here and you're going to talk to us today. So first things first, what's good? What's happening? My name is Shaque'l. I'm better known as your favorite six-figure chick. You are listening to your favorite six-figure chick podcast. And I'm here with Gina, of course.
So I am Gina. I'm the program coordinator here. And speaking of resumes, when y'all send your resumes in to us and ask, can we look at them? I mean, we can. We can look at them, but this is not a service that we offer. We look at them out of the kindness of our heart. It takes something out of our day.
Yeah.
And so don't send me a resume with your name to the left, your address, your mama's address.
I told you, they won't shoot us at your door, for sure.
Your son's address.
Absolutely, everybody's address.
No bullet points, just a whole paragraph about how you used to cook at the Asian restaurant downtown. And like, just scrolling down. Have a hard break. Breaking for what? I don't know. But
half the page not used.
Half the page not used. Just
next
not
page
used.
though.
References.
Next page.
You know, I got Shaque'l, I got Gina, and then I got my brother. But you know, he a mechanic, and this is where you can find him at. No, I don't need.
Why is this your reference? Why are your references even on here to begin with? Like,
so no.
Resumes are prime real estate. They are billboards. Use them as such. They are not autobiographies. I don't need to know everything you've ever done. That is a really big thing that people do, right? Is like, I'm going to list every job I've ever had, every volunteer thing I've ever done, and it's like, what does it have to do with the job you're trying to get from me?
Absolutely.
What does it have to do? And it's a touchback on the whole, we could review your resume. Let me tell you something. We have over 1,600 as of today videos on TikTok. A solid 100 of those, at least, are all about resumes. 2 videos, for sure, is the camera pointed right at the computer screen.
At the computer screen.
Step by step in a Google Doc of how to build and format a resume. And nowhere on there did I ever say, you know what? I would love a photo of you.
Absolutely not. So it's resume and tips on TikTok. So
yes,
if you send me that resume, I'm gonna gladly tell you absolutely not. And I will tell you to refer back to Shaque'l's resume and tips on TikTok. Yes. And then after you've done all the work, just come see me. Just send it back to me. Oh my God.
Yeah.
We had this client. She did exactly that, and her resume is beautiful now. Like, I think her name was Imani. Imani, you were wonderful.
Yeah.
But
go do the work.
You did the work, and I appreciate you for that.
Work.
And I like you for that. And you really truly excel in like the rest. It takes takes time. It just takes time.
It takes time. It takes time, and you got to do the process. But like, resumes are what keeps people from getting like so many job opportunities. Like I know so many people that are like, if I could just get in the door, if they would offer me an interview, I know I'd get the job. Why am I not getting the interviews? And then I look at their resume and I'm like, who the fuck is this? What is this? Why would you put this here? Like, full addresses. I want you to be safe. Your resume is not a secure document.
It's not.
Anybody can copy and paste and send that anywhere. They can print it off and send it anywhere. Like, why is your address on here? Why are you listing that you were a babysitter that one time when you were 12?
Why?
Why is that on your resume?
Why are you going back? Why are you going back 15, 20?
I don't understand.
I don't need you to go back 15,
and then you'll be like, nobody wants to hire me because I'm old. Well, babes, you told them you were old by putting 20 years of experience on here that we didn't need to know. We didn't need to know it. It's a resume is meant to be a billboard. You've got to make sure, what does this person need to know in order to want to hire me? And so one of the best ways to figure out what should or shouldn't be on your resume is to say, if the recruiter were reading this and they would say, why should I care? Do you have a simple one line answer as to why they would care? If you don't, Jack and Jill went over the hill, through the woods, fetch a pail of water to make the connection. You're not there to make that connection for them.
Absolutely.
So then they're never going to make that connection themselves. What's the statistic? It takes recruiters will spend 7 seconds looking at a resume before they decide if they should give it more time to review it further. So in 7 seconds, can I figure out, are you the person I need to talk to? Are you the person that I'm interested in?
Right.
And do you have the skill set that I need?
Right.
And it's my favorite thing is when people try to argue with me about titling their resumes. People love to list up at the top of the resume. Well, I work in customer service. And so I'm going to list customer service, but you're trying to be a project manager. Like, why the fuck would I hire you? Why am I looking at your resume? I'm going to close this shit down. You said you worked in customer service. And when I have a customer service role, I'll call you.
Then I'll call you.
That's not what I'm hiring for right now.
No.
That's not what I'm hiring for. You are just title the resume for what kind of resume this is. Make it very clear and obvious. This is the thing that I do.
Mm-hmm.
I know that I do this. You can leverage tools. Like I'm not against AI at all, as long as it makes sense.
Right.
And remember that AI is not smarter than you.
Absolutely. It's really not. I'll be like, hey, make me a resume, project, manager, coordinator. It'll just boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, oh, that doesn't make sense.
But it's like 4 pages long.
I'm like, no.
It's like 4 pages.
I stop you.
Yep. And then it talks in such a tone that doesn't sound like what you would want it to sound like. So like you can leverage AI if it's something that, you want to use, but there's just really simple formatting resumes. Resumes should be simple. That's the other piece is like, this doesn't need to be pretty. I don't care if you work in marketing or design or whatever it is that you do. Like, great, have a portfolio.
Please.
Make a portfolio that you can link and attach.
Absolutely.
That is what I'm like. I would rather you do that than be like, I want to make a pink resume because I'm on Legally Blonde and I want it to smell like sunshine and bunnies.
Spraying it. You spray. You remember y'all used to spray y'all's love letters. You need to play match or whatever y'all need to spray y'all's love letters. And you spray it and fan it around. I'm like, no, I don't need that.
We're not doing all that.
that.
I need you to be as straightforward as possible to help me quickly figure out whether or not you are my person.
Absolutely.
That's all I need to know. I can learn everything else I need to know later in the interview. But today it's just, are you the right person for this? Some of the most common things. So I'll ask you, what are a couple of common things you see on resumes that you wish you didn't?
So wish I didn't was the address thing. Wish I didn't was the email address.
Yeah.
And the email address.
I say, no, tell me more about the emails.
I will say I was too. So my email address dating back, it was Crystal So Fine at sbcglobal.com.
In case anybody's wondering, her name is Gina.
Who the hell is Crystal?
I don't know.
And so at that point, I was like, Edna, she's my mom. So I was like, Edna, why didn't you name me Crystal? I feel like that would have been so valid for me. She was like, to be honest, your name was about to be Crystal Rose. And I was like, and you went from, Georgina to Crystal. Like, I feel like, what's wrong? So I was like, Crystal So Fine at SBC Global. So, and then, so y'all put you two, Jerry's girlfriend, big bones 03 at, AOL or,
Absolutely. I was Lady Heartbreaker. Not. Yeah, I was Lady Heartbreaker 23 at yahoo.com.
Whose hearts would you breaking?
Baby, this is crazy part. 12? This is crazy part. If I had an ability to explain it, I would tell you that this was just my ex-girlfriend. She played for the Lady Heartbreakers team. That was the name of their basketball team. Her number was 23. That's why I did it. It wasn't even that I was calling myself a heartbreaker. I was just saying, I was like, oh, I'm property of her. Like,
you see what of her.
Why? Jesus.
Why would I put that? Why would I put
Lady
that?
Heartbreaker 23. I had to tell someone, I think I got my first, like my mom made me get on my own phone line when I was like 16. Like once I got a job, it was like, cool, you pay your own phone bill. And so I had to call AT&T to like pay them. And the lady was like, yes, ma'am. And what's your email address? And that was the first time I had to say it out loud. And I was like, I'm going to go create Shaque'l D.
At that time, I would have spelled it. I would have said Lady. And I was
said it out loud. No. Silence. I was just like, yes, ma'am.
I was like, whose hearts did you break? And I'm like, that's so crazy. Lady Heartbreaker, Crystal So Fine.
Crystal So Fine.
I see y'all don't provide a professional summary. No. So I don't know where y'all get that from.
Yeah.
Please provide what it is, who you are.
Quick
summation. You know what I'm saying?
Just like, what do you do?
And then you don't have bullet points or your bullet points is fat. And I'm just like, who wrote this for y'all?
But so when people think about bullet points, the reason why you need bullet points on your resume is because imagine it's Friday. You've been working all week and somebody sends you an email. And that email is 6 paragraphs long. And you were just like, I think the fuck not. Just mark it as unread.
Period.
I'll read this next week. And you're never going to read it next week, but you're going to move on then, right? A recruiter is looking at your resume and saying, I think the fuck not. and they're not reading it next week. This is just, I don't know if you have to make it easy for them. And it seems like really, but like you have to make it as easy as possible. You are the person that wants a job. Like
yes.
It is our job to be like, okay, how do I put my best foot forward? Like, here for this. And it's the emails. Then it's a big thing with the emails too, is that there's a lot of bias that happens, right? In hiring and recruiting and in work in general. And so when you use some of those, I don't know, most people probably over 40 who are doing Later Heartbreaker 23 email addresses, right?
Period.
But they are using at AOL, at SBC Global. Like there are so many pieces on your resume that will tell someone your age,
yes, your age, or
will tell them information like about you that you might not want them to know.
That you're black.
Like, baby, immediately. Cause I'm a
Shaque'l Wilson.
Let me tell you something. Again, I say this all the time. My mom named me Shaque'l. There's an apostrophe in my name for no reason. My mama named Shannon. Why did she do this? We don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But immediately when you see Shaque'l Wilson, they be like, oh, she a black lady.
Oh, she black.
She a black lady for sure. I don't need any more strikes against me past that. Like this is
past that.
I need this. This is gotta be it, right? So we can't have an email address. You don't need to have like your high school education. That's a big one. People love to put the year they graduated on their resumes. I don't want the year on anything. I don't want the year. Yeah,
absolutely.
I don't want the year on your like collegiate education or your high school education. No. But your like anybody can go to college at any time. You only go to high school. At max until you're 21. Most people cut over 18.
You know
some
what
people
I'm saying?
might
some
make it
people
to 21.
Might need that extra push.
I can age you based off of this, right? And so it's like immediately it's like, oh shit. Like, you what's that little Kevin Hart sound where like, damn, like it's like you start counting numbers, be like, they are how old?
How
and like
old are you? You say what?
Bias works both ways, or ageism works both ways. This is not just like, oh, if you're 50, you don't want to list like when you graduated from high school because I know you're 50. The same thing happens for 22-year-olds or 25-year-olds. You're considered, like you have lack of experience. You're gonna be entry level. And they don't want to consider you for mid-level or senior level opportunities. And it's because they figured out how old you were immediately. They found it out immediately. Like your resume is a billboard. It is prime real estate. And so you've got to put what is most important to the people that are trying to offer you a job. Like that's just like it's what do they need to know in order to offer you that job? Bullet points.
Yes,
you talked about.
They need bullet points. They need your descriptions of the jobs. Like you were saying, do not put where you worked. Like why would I put the Piggly Wiggly?
Oh, they highlight that. Oh yeah,
like,
for sure.
Yeah, no.
Like I worked at Walmart. I don't give a fuck about that.
I don't care about Walmart. I don't care about General down the street.
That don't make sense. Let me tell you something. Did you work for Beyonce? Do you know the Obamas? Do you? There's a certain list of people that I'd be like, wow. And we did. Oh my God. I forgot about that. So we had somebody recently who applied to be my assistant. And then his job title, his most recent one said that he was a personal assistant to the Migos.
He was.
And we was like,
hold on, wait. We have to put you through. I love the
Migos. We got to talk to him. Like, I was just like, I have to talk. But like, this is going to be something that, and like, even then, it's like, once we talk to him, we realize like, okay, cool. Still not a good fit. Doesn't matter they work for the Migos. Still not a good fit. But I was just trying to see if he could introduce me to Cardi B. It's like, I'm trying to stair step my way.
But I don't think his, like, Cardi B, yes, probably. But I don't know how he's going to tunnel you to Beyonce though.
Bro, I'm just saying, if I can get to Cardi, then I can make it to Beyonce. I'm sure.
You probably could. Have they done a song? Have they done a song together? Cardi B and Beyonce, no. Have they do a thing together? Have they?
I'm trying to think. See,
she said yes. Okay. So
I'm just saying
we can make this work. You might.
So we gave him a moment. All I'm saying is that if you've worked somewhere that is good enough, which sounds like whatever, but like then I get why you might want to highlight like where you worked at, but 9 times out of 10 you just haven't, right? And even then, where you worked, where this person worked, didn't get them the job. They never even made it to me. Like they didn't make it past Gina, you know, in the conversation in the interview rounds, because we just figured out like, oh, he's just not going to be a good fit for like what our needs are. But it's just like, please don't highlight that. Don't highlight your school. People love to be like, oh, like school, bold. Big letters. They just make it huge. And I'm like, cool,
IT technical of Waco, Texas.
What's
the instructor was
What's Lil Romeo's school? Was it ITT Tech?
ITT College. I said Romeo. I I said, now you know damn well you're not going to ITT. Stop playing with us.
We do not care, sir.
We don't care.
Like, please stop listing these things. Stop making them like highlights. The things that I do want you to highlight, right, is these bullet points. I need you to talk about your impact. Impact statements are far more important than a task list.
Yes.
People love to do like, I answered the phone. I faxed. I helped customers. Cool.
But
what does that really mean? Like, how do you actually put that together? And so like a good example that I like to give is like when people talk about like, oh, I answered the phone. Something else that I would suggest, like listing like an alternative version of that is like, I supported customers through phone, email, and chat modalities.
I love that.
Answering up to 40 calls a day, maintaining a 99% CSAT rating.
I love that.
That is a bullet point. That tells me what I did, my capacity of handling, and I did it so well that I still maintain a customer satisfaction rating of this. Impact statements only. Somebody, I think recently, and it wasn't somebody that applied to a job, but it was somebody who's asking us to look at her resume, had on her resume that she could lift 50 pounds.
So I'll put in the chat, I can live 200. What are you saying? So, do you want to go? Like, do you want to?
Are you working an office job? Because you're applying to a virtual, like you wanted to work like remotely. Why do you have this listed here? Like, this is the job process and the job search and the things have like changed over time. And I understand like back in the day, like 10 years ago, you probably would have seen a job description that was like needs to be able to lift up to yada yada. And I understand, but like that doesn't need to go on your resume. This is prime real estate. What is important for me to know that you can do this job really, really well. Like that is the important part. So it's my spiels on resumes. But here's the thing. People get the resumes, they get onto the calls, and then they fuck that up too.
They freeze. And so like, especially, you know, as Black women, we walk into like a panel. I've only really done panel interviews. And so it's been a panel of people who do not look like
Don't look like you, right?
White men, older white men, you know, white women. And so you're already like shell shocked. You're like, oh damn, you know, trying to fix your shirt this little.
Am I dressed appropriately?
You know what I'm saying?
And you start thinking of all these things. Like what does my hair look like?
You know, I got on blue lipstick, and just to be clear, I would have had on blue lipstick today, but she didn't have no blue lipstick in the
makeup artist wasn't.
But I'm like, I'm wearing blue lipstick to this interview. I don't give a damn what you feel like. Like absolutely not. So it's just a lot. Like, you already blow it. You already just blow it.
It's the lack of confidence, though.
It is.
Authenticity is so important in interviews. Authenticity, if I could give anybody and everybody 2 key pieces of advice when it comes to interviews, is be your best authentic self. Best is the most important word there. I didn't say act like you're in a fucking sense, right? Be your best authentic self and answer the fucking question they asked you.
Do not answer
anything else.
That's it.
People tend to, tell me a bit about your experience. And they'll be like, well, although I don't have experience doing this project, that's not what the fuck they said. They said, tell me about your experience. Answer that question.
Yes.
Like, don't go off script. Don't over explain things. No one asked. But your best authentic self, especially for Black women. I get that, sometimes we're like, I gotta, like you were saying, like, oh, my hair or the way my face looks. I find joy and I find peace and authenticity. But 2, I do not want to work for a company that does not want me to be my authentic self.
Absolutely.
So if you don't like my nails, if you don't like the way that my hair, and like today it's just a fade, so it's fine. But like, I've had a mohawk, I've had locks with a mohawk, I've done colors. My hair has been different colors. Also, things, I wear these big ass hoop earrings as often as I can. And it's like, if these companies aren't interested in me when I look like this,
bothered.
That's okay. This isn't the place for me because I don't want to fake the funk with you, which was such a Black ass thing to say. Like, I don't want to fake the funk with you in this interview. And then like, now how much longer do I got to keep faking the funk? Like, you want me to code switch? You want me to change up? I'm not going to do that. Like, there's again, best authentic self. So don't come in popping your bubble gum, and you shouldn't have gum in your mouth at all. Don't come in popping your gum, doing all this stuff. And I know that there are all of these tropes of like Black women. And sometimes those tropes are just like, that's just who we are. Like, it really is what we be looking like and what we be sounding like sometimes. But it's like, how can I bring my best authentic self here? So like, no, I'm not chewing gum. I am going to sit up straight in my interviews. I'm going to call people by their name. I'm going to like look them in the eyes. Like, all of these other things that I can do to show like my best self. I have tattoos, you know what I'm saying? And so it's like, okay, I know that this might not be the day to wear the like button down all the way down to my titties.
Yes.
Like I might
may not be the time. May not be and y'all know what may not be the time. It may not be. Don't show up like a fool.
Sure,
best authentic self is really truly as it is.
Absolutely, absolutely. But authenticity is so important. Like,
it is.
That's the most important part. Is that authenticity is so important because I don't want to code switch later.
No,
I want you to know exactly what you are getting from
the jump.
Or I want you to know exactly what it is that you're getting because this is just what I sound like. And this time I talk to your customers too.
Absolutely.
And they're going to love it. They're going to eat that shit up. They're like, I just love that Shaque'l girl. I know y'all do.
Be like, I know. Like, she ain't coach with you. Like, no. Like, what you see is what you get. Yes, like, truly, what you see is what you get.
Yes. It's, that's a big piece. But on the answering the questions that are asked and just other interview like tips in general, like answering the question that you're asked, but also to ask your own questions.
Thank y'all for asking those questions.
Ask your own questions.
Like when we were hired for the executive assistant, they questioned me down. I mean, to the damn D. And I was like, okay, anything that you want to know about Shaque'l, the
you
business,
done left like 5 minutes. They got 20 minutes worth of questions.
I had to start each and every call over because I had a 45-minute block. And I'm like, okay, this call is about to end, but click out of here and wrap it back up.
I'll bring you back around.
Come back. And so they're like, oh yeah, what do you do? What does Shaque'l do? What does she like? What does she dislike? Who is she? What about the business? And I'm just like,
what does it make you feel though? When they want to ask you all of those questions.
I love that. I love that because it truly makes me feel like they are actually invested.
Like they give a shit.
Yes, they give a shit. They gave a shit about you, about me, which made me feel like great. And I was like, oh, y'all truly want to take care of her. Y'all truly want to, be there for her. And I love that. And so they're like, hey, I just want to find out what she dislikes. And, make sure I don't do it. I said, okay.
Wanting to fill this role.
And just writing them down. She's like, I'm taking notes.
Prepared.
The woman we picked, she's like, I'm taking notes. I just want to make sure. I'm just like, okay, these are her favorites. So like, okay, I'm going to bring it box. Yeah. And I appreciate her for doing that because I was like, nobody's going to do this.
Let's step outside.
And so to be clear, just do those things and just be so authentic and ask those questions.
It makes them rememberable.
It does.
It makes them like it's somebody that you're like, oh, I remember her because she had these. I remember him because he had like these questions. Like, please ask people questions back and like have your questions prepared ahead of time. Don't in the moment try to be like, well, I think we can no. Know what you want to ask ahead of time. And like that requires some research. But like also one of the things I love that you just said is like they asked you questions about you.
Yes, they did.
Asking the interviewer, whoever they are, questions about themselves makes such a difference because nobody asks the interviewer questions about themselves. No. Someone's like, well, tell me more about the job and tell me about the community and tell me about like how we're doing this. But it's like nobody asks themselves and it feels so good. It does. And like the biggest thing with interviews is it's not necessarily being likable, but it's about making connections. Right. Like if I get somebody giggling in an interview, got them.
You know what I'm saying? Just got him.
Done. Like
somebody's like, you got
we go
couch?
Together real bad. You're calling me back.
Like, I gotta call you back. I was just like, I just have a question for you. Do you have a pink couch in the back? I said, yeah, I do got it. I got this pink velvet couch right here. Like, you got a pink couch? I said, girl, I see it. Girl.
Connections.
And I'm just thinking like, okay, you might not be the best fit, but I like your connection. I like you though. Like,
something about probably you makes me want to push you through.
We could definitely hang out tomorrow. You my type of girl.
Yes. But people don't ask interviewers questions about themselves. And so I think this, and like, this isn't, chastising the shit out of them or anything like that, but just truly asking like genuine questions. I always like to have fun questions and hard questions. Like I will ask somebody and they hate it, but I'm like, when's the last time you received negative feedback? How'd you handle that? What was the outcome of it? That's a good question. The last time somebody on your team disagreed with you? What was the outcome? That's a good question. Of like, exactly, right? Because I'm looking to see, it's not only in the words that they say, but it's the body language and the answer. Like if they come really like, right. I don't know who the fuck you asking that to. I'm the manager. Like, I'm the it's like, okay. Or if they're very dismissive, like, it was what it was, but at the end of the day, I'm the manager. Like, shit, like, you're like, oh, I don't want to work here. Oh, yeah. Like, I know you're not going to be somebody like I want to work with. So, like, I ask really tough questions. And I tell, like, my, community and my clients to ask tough questions as well. But, like, I love fun questions. Like, if y'all ain't heard of the chicken wing question yet, so it's my favorite question. I always start with this one because, again, I got to get them laughing. So, I'll start with, this question. And I'm like, you know what? Gina, it has been so great getting to talk to you today. I've really enjoyed learning more about Six Figure Chick Consulting and what they do and who they serve. And this has been amazing. I got to ask you a couple of questions. This first one is really going to make or break the experience, if I'm being honest. Drums or flats?
And then being me.
I need y'all to know there are producers in the room right now, and they are giggling so they ass off right now.
Giggling.
That is exactly what I am going for. Because if you laugh, I got them. Done. We can end the interview right now. You love me. And then I'm going to argue them about it, right? Because the answer is flats, by the way, in case anybody was
She's like, yeah, the answer is flats.
The answer is flats in case anybody was wondering. But if they ever say drums, right? And then I'm like, today was going really well, but I see this isn't going to work out, okay? Or, like, hey, I thought I liked you. And look, let me tell you, when I get started next week, I'm gonna take you to this like wing joint, da. So speak assumptively, keep it moving. But like, I love to ask funny questions too, because I love food. 2, I think I'm funny. Y'all might not think I'm funny, but I think I'm hilarious.
No, you're funny. You just don't know.
So like, it might not be everybody else's thing, right? Like, you don't have to make jokes if that's not your thing. So fun questions can be like, hey Gina, if you money wasn't an object, you could go anywhere in the world tomorrow, where would you go? And then like after that question, I love to ask about food.
Absolutely.
So I'd be like, you've got, what's that dude's name? Is it Gordon Ramsay? I think it's the chef, right?
Yes,
Gordon?
it is.
It's like, you've got Gordon Ramsay here. He can make you anything in the world.
Anything.
What are you asking him to cook for you? Like, but these are questions that like, this is about this person.
Absolutely.
They get to answer it. They're kind of soft. They're kind of fun. Gets them thinking a little bit. So like mix the two together. You don't need to drill sergeant anybody.
Absolutely. And that's what I did when I was hiring your executive assistant. Yeah. I took like your feedback and incorporated it into my section. Yeah. So I was like, all the serious questions out the way. But like the 2, I was like, hey, if you could be an assistant for anybody in the world, who would you be?
Who you picking?
And so
what was your common answers?
Most of them, the president's assistant.
Okay.
They would
like
rather
Obama or any president.
2 of them said Obama.
Okay, there we go.
2 of them
right
said
answer.
Obama.
All right.
One of them said like Clinton, which I thought, oh damn,
interesting.
But the thing is, you weren't even born during that era, so I feel like that was really interesting as to how
I
you
was
came
going
up
to
with
do
that.
this.
Other one said, I just want to see what Biden is doing right now because I haven't really heard anything.
Yeah.
But I
to be like in, or like just like I want to be in the room. Like, and there's something about being in the room. No,
that's what they said.
But these are great questions to just like find out more information. And so it's like use questions to get the info that you aren't gonna get in their general spiel.
Yes.
Like that's the important part. Is like everybody loves to ask about culture. Instead of asking you about culture, I'm gonna ask you like instead of like, oh my god, look, what's the culture like? I'm gonna ask like, when's the last time you were celebrated? Exactly. Here at work, what did that look like?
Ooh.
Exactly.
That is a
When's
good
the last
question.
time you were celebrated? When's the last time that an individual contributor's idea was like implemented? And so that. Like it's so and this could be across the board. It doesn't have to be this team, but I'm checking in to see how the company like what the culture is really like. Y'all say, oh, we're a cross-functional collaborative. Those words are always there. Yes. And it's like, okay, cool. So when's the last time that you let somebody that wasn't in leadership make a decision? Right? When's the last time you celebrate? Because like I know I love companies that are going to be like, hey, it's your birthday. Let my birthday come around and y'all don't do anything. I am livid. You know what? I'm
upset.
I'm done. Not me showing up to work. I'm only showing up here so you can do something for my birthday.
Period. So I can see the cupcakes and the cookies. So you can print me out happy birthday. What? Happy birthday, Georgina. What? And I love you. I'll show it up and it's April 13th and you're not giving me nothing
for you to do something for me. I could have taken a day off.
I'm going home.
I could have taken today off. Like what the fuck? So it's just like I'm looking to see like what's the culture really like. Because everybody one of my favorite things to add into this is because people who interview are trained to interview. Like they are trained to know what to say. Please ask when you make it to final rounds, please ask to interview with somebody that is not on the hiring team. One of the big people I generally will ask for is somebody a part of an ERG. ERG stands for Employee Resource Groups. So bigger companies, smaller companies sometimes don't have them, but this is like a Black employee resource group or a Latino employee resource group, a LGBTQIA plus group, whatever it might be. Ask to speak to 1 or 2 people. I want you to wait until you're through, right? You don't need to be like asking this on the first interview or something, but like before your final rounds or after your final rounds and before an offer is extended, because those people have not been trained to interview. And they are going to give you the actual man. TikTok used to ask me to do that for like Black employees or Black potential, candidates or whatever. I ain't gonna call and be like, girl, let me tell you something. Let me tell you about this. You got to do this thing and this is how you can do this. And like, I was like, I'm going to give you all the tea that like I absolutely can. So it is just that's another way to like learn more about where you're trying to work at. And it also sets you apart. Like nobody else is asking for that shit.
Nobody's
asking to like do that. at all. So it makes a really, really big difference. But even if they don't have ERGs, just ask to interview with somebody that's not a part of the hiring team. Okay.
I love that.
I don't want to talk to HR. I don't want to talk to recruiting. No. I don't want to talk to talent acquisition. Give me somebody else. Like, I'd just love to talk to them. And I do not feel uncomfortable with saying, like, I'd love to talk to one of your Black employees.
Absolutely.
I'd love to talk to one of your queer employees. Like, do you have anybody here that, like, would be, open to having a quick 30-minute conversation with me just to see, like, how things go? Because it's a culture question.
It is.
Do you have a good enough relationship with your Black employees?
Do you?
That you'd feel comfortable asking them and saying, hey, this Black potential candidate wants to talk to you. Do you have the type of culture and office where people are comfortable talking about being like a part of the LGBTQIA plus community?
I love that.
So do you know
I love that.
whether or not there's a queer employee here to ask
that makes sense
to be a part of this? So like, there's so many things that you can leverage, right, in order to have such a great interview experience. But the two, just the overarching, the wrap up of this really is like, I need your resume to be a billboard. Position your resume in the way that like shines for, this is the role you're trying to get into, not the role that you do. When you get into those interviews, make sure you ask them questions. Show up as your best authentic self. If I'm missing anything, Gina, is there anything that you would put for the wrap up for our folks?
I think you said it so well, like in a nutshell. Like she said, please be your best authentic self.
Best is the keyword.
We need you to be. Do not be Reggie's cousin from down the street. Yeah. We just need you to be like Shaque'l Wilson. We just need you to be Shaque'l Wilson. Showcase who you are, what you do, what you're going after. Yeah. Like, you do not want to stay flipping, burgers or whatever, fries at McDonald's.
We do not.
You want to be a project manager, customer success manager. You want to be all of those A's, and you can truly get to that. And with those steps.
Yeah, such an opportunity. I'm really excited about it. This was today's talk. We will catch y'all next Sunday for our 6-Figure Sundays. Y'all know we're going to be here every single Sunday bringing it to you. So thank you for being here, and we'll see you soon.